Today on the Blazers Are Cool show, we are at the halfway point of the NBA season, which is crazy to say, but the Blazers are 19-22, which is pretty decently on pace, maybe a little bit above than what people thought Vegas thought we would be at. Right now, we'll assess the first half of the season and look towards the second half with some things we hope to see. From Deni to Tumani to Klingon to Tom Dundon. We got a lot of takes about what we're hoping the Blazers do and pull off in the second half of the season. And we'll also talk about these last few games. Deni is out now, and it seems to be making a big impact on this team, as evident by the Warriors game last night. So we'll catch you all up to speed with the state of the Blazers to start the show. We want to thank you guys for continuing to support us all the time. We are inching up in subscribers, getting closer and closer to our goal of 2,000 by the end of the NBA season. We hope you guys who are new here can help us do that, so subscribe if you like the show and like what we do here. But otherwise, hit a like, drop a comment if you can, and let's talk about the Blazers' second half of the NBA season. Brad, the highs of this Blazer season and the lows of this Blazer season. The winning of the back-to-back Rockets games and then the downfall of what was the Deni injury that has led into this Warriors game. It's been turning my stomach sideways.
It's testing my ability to not be a reactive blowhard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I fight in my soul. I have like a Zach Lowe on one shoulder and a Skip Bayless on another. And they're both
freaking out right now.
They're both freaking out right now. And so it's tough. I'm like, which one do I listen to? No, but we're fine. We're fine. We really are. Because, I mean, looking at Deni, this game sucked. I wish this kind of game happened against a less mediocre team. But it showed a lot. I mean, it was like made some things very evident. The main one being that Deni is like, dude, he's like MVP level important.
I mean, at least if you want to isolate it to the offensive end, and I think Blazer fans are
defensive too. I think at least like effort wise and just knowing like, because I know Denny's kind of been disappointing defensively this season. I guess I don't know. I think he's been fine. I haven't been as against him as a lot of people seem to. I think he's been okay given how much insane physical workload he has on offense. And I think tonight showed that whatever Deni might be lacking defensively is like clearly worth it for how much he obviously brings on offense. But I also don't think he's been that bad on defense. Do you disagree with that?
I think he's been like probably an overall neutral defender.
That's how I feel. He's what you expect someone with that much to, be giving on the offensive end and to be giving on the defensive end.
But he's also making incredible plays, like strip steals to transition buckets. The one in the Knicks game where he had he got all the way back in transition and stopped Mikal Bridges, stole the ball, got a layup. I mean, there's been countless times like that this season. The hustle play at the end of the Rockets game.
It was like the play of the year.
Like, he's doing truly like MVP level stuff. I
know some of the advanced like metrics don't show that he's been great, but I sort of like don't care because I think he's been mostly fine and has made some pretty awesome plays. I never watch a game and I'm like, Deni losses that defensively.
For
like,
sure. For sure.
Whole.
Yeah. So everything he's been doing, I mean, if you want there's never been a game where a player has been out to then show how important that player is more for the Blazers than this one tonight, I think.
Let me ask you this. It's kind of a stupid question, but what players in the NBA do you think are more valuable to their team than Deni is to the Blazers? Jokic, SGA,
Giannis.
Oh, Giannis, of course. Giannis might be like number one, dude. I can't believe how bad that team is when he's not playing.
I know, but they look bad tonight when he was playing. But still.
But also, dude, I don't know if you take out SGA, I still think that's a playoff team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he's got that same sort of offensive gravity for sure.
Sure.
But
dude, is that like kind of it? It was such a we just went on a five, right? We just
Like,
went on a
can you?
5-game winning streak, and now he's out in this difference, especially when you've already seen us wreck this Warriors team on multiple occasions this year,
Yeah,
led by Deni. Dude, he's all NBA level, MVP level, important to a team.
yeah,
And that's
and
not saying he's like at those guys' level, but because like obviously if you put Giannis on this team, if you put Jokic on this team, we're better than we are for Denny
yeah,
than if we had Denny. But in terms of like the effect when they're on the court versus not on the court, playing in a game versus not playing in the game, like it's like three guys more important than Denny for their team.
for sure. And the stats back that up. Like his on-off rating is incredibly high. I think it's
97th percentile
yeah, it's
or
well within the
something.
top 10. So yeah, and we saw that tonight because we came out and look extremely disorganized. It was just hard to move the ball around. You know, tonight the problem with the Warrior game tonight to me too was like whatever that does to us on offense, it just reverberates all the way back to defense. And our defense
Is terrible.
Our
Right?
defense, when our offense sucks, our defense sucks like even harder somehow. And that's, if you want to credit Denny's defense, it's because his offense puts the ball in the hoop so we can go back and get set.
That is so unbelievably spot on.
Right?
Absolutely. And it's to me the most disappointing part of this game is that you would think like because when I see these games where you're down big on stars, it's like you don't obviously you would like to see, Caleb or Shea drop 30 and get us a win that way, but you'd expect for them to know that they need to make up for it on pure defensive
Yeah.
intensity, even if it doesn't go well,
Yeah.
even if it causes like too many fouls, like overplaying some closeouts, blah, 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 blah. Even if it's you get that negative effect of what trying too hard on defense can somehow look like, you want to lose that way. And that's
Yeah.
not how we lost. We lost because we were when Drew wasn't in the game, we had no one to run the offense. I thought Drew was awesome tonight. I know like he made that Ben Simmons-esque play
Yeah.
that got rid of the ball when we could have cut it to 10, which was God, that was just awful.
Yeah.
And but this is not to like because I thought Drew was our best player tonight, but Jesus Christ, dude, that made me like audibly groan. I was like, oh my God, that was to cut it to 10, and it made me realize why that Ben Simmons play ruined his life.
Yeah.
Because imagine if that happened in a tie game in like a game 7, which I think that's what it was.
It was
game
a pretty,
7 of the
pretty
first round against the
important,
Hawks, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Right.
And that he does what Drew did there. You'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like when Drew wasn't in the game, we had no one who could set the offense. And then we didn't make up for it defensively.
Yeah.
And anyway, in terms of, I mean, let me ask you this. Do you think tonight's defensive, or when we'll talk about this in general, when we don't play well defensively, do you think it's an effort thing or a defensive awareness thing? Like a,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Effort versus, skill, I guess.
Yeah.
Because defense is a skill, it's kind of, especially nowadays.
I probably want to say more effort. Because you looked at how that third quarter started tonight, and we came out flying, and
Yeah.
it just caused the Warriors to miss some shots. You know
Of
what I
course.
mean? Like, just flying around, being in their face, rattling Quentin Post a little bit, like he gave us a chance to get back in the game. So it kind of felt like it was that, and we've gotten off to slow starts a lot this year, and I think everyone's at fault for that. Like, I mean, Denny's in super in the boat there too. It's not like we needed him for that. I was just bummed not to see Drew out there to start. I think a good start could have helped us more. I know
Yeah.
and I get like the minutes thing. Thiago's minutes just are actually. I mean, I've said this before, but they're schizophrenic. Like,
Yeah.
Drew didn't start the game and he didn't come in until 7 minutes in the second quarter, but then we'll play him 11 minutes in a row when we're down.
I know. How weird is
20?
that? Because again, it's what you're saying is it's not like we understand there's a minutes restriction, which is supposedly 15 or 16 minutes, one of the two.
I guess.
It's not we're not mad that he didn't play more, but it was the time we decided to play him, which was strange. I imagine it's because we wanted to hold out hope that we were competitive
Yeah.
so that we could play him as much as we want in the fourth.
Yeah, I think that was a rigid game plan that they went in sticking with. Like, just hold
Yeah.
on, and then we'll give Drew the third quarter. And then I think he was supposed to go out a couple minutes before he actually did, but the ball just wouldn't go out of bounds.
Oh yeah, and he had to foul on
Yeah,
his
he had to
own.
foul to get out of the
He's
game.
like, Jesus Christ, just
Yeah.
get me out of here. Yeah.
But yeah, it was discombobulated and it was predictable. But again, we've been saying this all year. Like, you can tell when we're still playing bad and when we're still playing good. And it was like we were in a hole to start from like before tip off, and we didn't give ourselves any sort of a chance to be in it. And it started with, and it was all because of the defense. Like, they just were whapping threes all through the first 2 quarters, and we let them do that. So,
and I still think we would have lost the game even with a good defensive effort.
Yeah.
But it just sucks that we lost the game and also had a bad defensive effort.
Yeah.
See, I agree. I overall for this season think our defensive struggles has been mostly because of the the insane pace, and then also expecting a team that's short on guys playing incredibly fast to also be highly intense on defense is just like over estimation of what the human body can take.
Yeah.
Because that Drew being's like at like fouling to get himself subbed out because he was so gassed was a reminder of how like, because we like to sit here at home and be like, you're a professional athlete, it's making millions of dollars, like, like fight through it. But that's like, you can't control that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drew being so gassy, he had to foul to get himself out was a reminder of how tired these guys really can get.
Yeah. And that third quarter, we were playing incredibly fast. I think that was the idea. Was Tiago was like, get up off your ass, start playing hard. We're gonna come out this quarter. Drew's gonna start because Drew can actually play with pace. I think like Deni's good-ish at playing with pace, but Drew's actually like really good at playing with pace. And he came out and like made that a thing, and it worked for a little while. We hit a couple threes finally, and it actually put some pressure on them.
Dude, can I say something really quick about the NBA? Because I know I kind of said this last time, but like, I am sometimes get a little bit tired of how much games are tied to just 3-point makes.
Yeah, tonight was one of those for sure.
I'm not a hater of the 3-point shot at all. Like I said last time, I love well-balanced basketball where the 3-point shot is just as much of a skill as anything else. But watching these games where it's like, oh, we missed a lot of threes, so the game's over. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It's tough. But that's how it goes. So we have to be better at that. But like you said, you're right. Like, we did play with more pace in that third quarter. I thought more of it just came from our defensive intensity that kind of allowed us to, like, we had no choice but to push the ball because we were getting so many, opportunities to.
Yeah.
I love pace that way. I love pace. Like we've always said, we want the pace to have purpose to it.
Yeah.
Not just because that's like what Tiago likes to see.
Right.
Like, it's like we saw this over the last 2 weeks. Like, our winning streak happened while we fell to like 25th in the NBA in pace over that time period.
Yeah.
And like, we've been saying that all year. It's like, you want to see Tumani play better. You want to see Donovan play better. Slow down the game.
Right.
Like, that's when we saw Tumani have his best stretch of the season over that winning streak. And now I feel like that we've picked up the pace a little bit, like the last against the Knicks game, and we didn't play insanely fast tonight, but you see Tumani struggle again.
Yeah. I think it's an overarching thing. I think the last game and a half is too much of a small sample size to say that's why it was going.
But
bad.
It's not just the game and a half; it's the first half of the season and games that we played with high pace, high intensity. It's like you see Tumani, you see Donovan struggle defensively. Tumani was a -18 tonight, which I know like everyone had a shout out to Drew, who played 20 minutes and was a +1 because I thought you could feel it. It just showed how much we were missing anyone who could run a competent offense and get stops defensively.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still would like to see us play because you saw us struggle in the Knicks game when the Knicks, that wasn't our doing, but the Knicks like clearly decided to push the tempo and we got gassed and Tumani struggled. Everyone struggled and we lost the game because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think we're definitely better as a middle of the pack pace team at least, or if anything, a slower one, and it helps us defensively. It's weird. It's a weird balance that I think Tiago has in his head, where he's like got these like rigid values and ideas stuck in his head, but then But then people start dropping like flies, and it's just impossible to try and stick with them. So I don't know.
We gave him big credit for switching up on that and going slower, and that led to the winning streak. But it's like, he wants to play fast so bad.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm just personally against it because I feel like we see, especially in Tumani, a big effect in how we play. But tonight I thought, the defensive, we just didn't step up effort-wise defensively for how much we needed to in order to be competitive without Deni
Yeah.
On the offensive end. I thought we were pretty horrible defensively tonight.
Yeah. No, I agree. It just sucks because I was kind of like I mentioned at the beginning, the roller coaster, like that. We were in such a good spot up until, I thought we were going to win that Knicks game when we took that lead in the fourth quarter. And that Knicks game we lost, and, the biggest story of it all is like Deni got hurt at the end, and we kind of just, ran out of gas for however many reasons, but that one being like the nail in the coffin, because once he went out, it was basically over. But, dude, I thought we played so well in that game. The Knicks
me too. I thought we played awesome.
The Knicks just played better. Is kind of just
what
it was. And they got Josh Hart back, who they've been missing for a while and is a big part of, obviously, what they do. They were a team who's lost 5 of 6, so they were on this sort of, like, hungry, like, we need this win type deal. Like, there were so many things working against us, and we were going shot for shot with them, and then it came down to the wire, and then it just kind of, like, bad Deni turnover, then he gets hurt. And we just came up short after gutting out 2 really gritty wins against the Rockets the 2 games before, who are having their own struggles. So those wins maybe aren't, super premier, you could say, but still great wins for this team. So it just sucked because I was so ready. I was like on the edge of my seat being like, oh my God, we're finally going to get national media shine. We're finally going to get we're finally going to enter this, we're in the conversation thing. And then boom, we're just now okay, Deni's out. How long is he going to be out? Can we handle this? It was so close. And now we just have to wait a little bit longer. But it's like that.
What's the official diagnosis on Deni? What did it say on the injury report?
They haven't given a timetable, which I think is ultimately a good thing. And it seems like people think he's going to be back soon.
But what was the official listing on the
lower back soreness?
Lower back soreness. Okay, cool.
So it's not like I don't know, not any sort of disc or sharp pain. I think he just overexerted himself, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, I saw some of my favorite maybe they are doctors, but I always see them as genius wannabe doctors who I put on Twitter and Reddit, who I put all my faith in for some strange reason, because I want any semblance of hope when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, it's not strange.
So I was like, if it's listed as lower back soreness, we probably don't have much to worry about. And then it was, and I was like, okay, good.
Nice.
Some guy at Reddit told me that it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I think on the bright side, we weren't supposed to win tonight. Obviously, the way we lost was disappointing, but somewhat expected, which is also kind of a bummer to say. But we also clearly saw how good we can be during that winning streak in those Rockets game with not even a healthy team, but a still somewhat depleted team. We're really figuring it out. And the good news is when Deni does come back, which I would expect, I'm completely pulling this out of my Tuscus, but I think I would assume he misses
Thursday.
This Hawks, Lakers, Kings, and then plays. We have 3-day break
after the Kings,
and I assume he plays next Thursday against the Heat. So let's say he misses 4 games. Sorry.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll miss 4 games total. Miss about a week and a half of basketball, and probably be good after that. That's what I would assume. It seems like 4 games missed for this makes sense, especially given that 3-day break we have before the Heat game. And with that, it seems like Jeremy's definitely going to be back by then. He was game time decision today.
Yeah.
Drew is back, so it's probably going to be it's going to be the kind of injury lull that most teams experience. The difference is we've been experiencing it all season, which makes it feel worse. But it's normal to be missing guys for a few games. So the way I see it is just get over this hump until Denny's back on against the Heat, because Jeremy will be back, Drew will be back.
Yeah.
Will be an improved and healthier version of what we were seeing during that streak. And we're probably going to go back to being a really solid team after that. It's just kind of small lull that we're gonna have to get over. And luckily, we're playing some beatable teams
Yeah,
still. Hopefully, we can get
totally.
the Kings game and maybe I'm going to the Hawks game, so hopefully we can win that one too. And obviously, hopefully we can beat the Lakers. But yeah, hopefully we'll see 1 or 2 wins. We'll probably be fine. So I'm actually not personally worried about it. It's far from panic mode.
Yeah. I mean, we paid it forward with that big win streak. We caught ourselves back up to 500. And now we're going to take a hit, and it's going to be a little bumpy again. But, like, thank God we showed we have some life in us, a win streak. That's just all we needed to get back. So, yeah.
It was good timing in some ways for Deni to get hurt, knowing that there's like for the first time, there's a clear light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to injuries. And that's, to me, against the Heat next Thursday.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have no team insider info. Maybe
Yeah.
Denny's out for a month. But by how Denny spoke of it and the fact that it's only listed as back soreness, I assume he's just going to, get that extended break after the Kings game and be back next Thursday.
Yeah. Well, that stretch of games kicks off what is the official second half of the season.
Yep.
Tonight was game 41. The Blazers finished the first half of the season 19-22, which would put us on pace for 38 wins, which for those keeping track at home would be over our win total, would mean I don't have to wear the DeAndre Ayton jersey for an entire month. So we're in it. So the Blazers are in a good spot, I would say, overall, based on preseason
I'm not
expectations.
worried. I mean, like you said, we caught up and we're going to be healthy in a minute.
Yeah, and with how banged up everyone is, you could definitely argue it could be way, 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 way worse. But we're doing fine, and hopefully we get healthy. Which is kind of, I'll kick us off on that because I think that's probably the most blatantly obvious thing that everyone wants to see for what we're going to talk about here, which are second half of things Brad and I would like to see for the second half of the season. And I'll just get this one out of the way. It's just like, please, can people just start being healthy? Like, it's
100%.
the biggest, stick in the mud. It's such a bummer to see, not even just for us as fans, but like, dude, I feel so bad for Scoot, just like missing what is such a valuable year in his development. And, imagine being 21. This is what you've worked your whole life towards. You know nothing else but basketball, and you have to sit there night in, night out, get told every week, still not yet. I just, like, if for nothing else, then, like, dude, just some of these guys who just need to play. I mean, Scoot's being the poster child of it all, and, Jeremy's been in the league for a while, and he's had his injuries, and same with Drew, but just please get healthy so we can just see a flash of maybe what this team looks like towards the end of the season.
Yeah, Scoot is the one that hurts. That's the first. I said that out loud today when they showed that we were officially this is the 41th game of the season. I like gasped. I was like, that means Scoot's officially missed half the NBA season.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And he hasn't even sniffed the court either. That's the biggest
bummer. Oh, I know.
It's like,
and because, dude, I was so excited to see Scoot. Because now that I realized that, I've said this before, but I realized that I had such bias towards Ant.
Yeah.
I was like, that I wasn't like the biggest Scoot. I wanted him to do well, but I wasn't like this huge Scoot believer. Then the second, because I was a big Ant believer. Then we got rid of Ant, and all of a sudden I was like, Scoot is the goddamn future. And that's how I feel right now. I rewatch some of his best games from last year all the time, just because I feel like it's the energy, the intensity on both ends is like something in the speed, and it's just something we so clearly need. So I completely agree. That's the overarching thing, is that we hope we get healthy.
Yeah.
And mainly for Scoot.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Scoot playing because Jeremy's coming back, Drew's back. Obviously we hope Chris gets back. And then
Matisse and Blake too. I mean, in the similar vein. Like,
that'd be incredible.
Yeah.
And which kind of gets, it makes my next wish for the team conflicting, because to me that's two things. Like, what do I want to see in the second half of the season? If we stay unhealthy to relatively unhealthy, I hope we see us slow it down.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see in the second half of the season, is what has worked. I'm always a huge fan of what works, especially. So I've always been I'm always lineup obsessed, as you know. I'm always looking, like, after every game, I look to see what lineups worked, what lineups didn't, like, because I always feel like it's getting it back into puzzles. It's been a while, but we've always used this puzzles analogy. If you're a fan of the show, we love our puzzle analogies. That lineups are usually to me the biggest piece of the puzzle. I think every team in the NBA, if you put the right pieces together, you can put a good lineup out there.
Yeah.
But what's been weird about this team is that we haven't really, there isn't like a lineup that you could, last year there was lineups that stood out.
Yeah.
And we're good when this lineup plays. That hasn't been that true this season. I think a lot of it because we haven't had a lot of time with everyone to really have a lot of potential for great lineups because so many people have been out.
Sure. And also, but I also think that that's Thiago's style of coaching is like, it's a revolving door off the bench and I don't, in my head, I like to think that this philosophy of his of doing that is so that every player on this team learns to play with everyone else, and it's like it'll pay off in dividends down the line because I guess you don't know who'll be in or whatnot. I don't know, but to your point, it feels like every lineup has just been kind of flattened out to like the same amount of minutes because everyone's been out and everyone plays with everyone in any given game. I mean, tonight you can have 18 total players on a roster at a given time, right? And tonight, every player either played by the second quarter when Duop Reith went in, or was not able to play because they were hurt.
Exactly. It's hard to complain about lineups.
Yeah. So, but yeah, keep going.
No, you're absolutely right. It's hard to complain about lineups right now because everybody's out. But what we have seen work so far that we've been begging for, you and I, the whole season is let's stop running fast. I mean, we've mentioned already in this video. It's like, let's stop playing fast just for the sake of it. Tonight we saw in the third quarter, we played fast in a way that was relevant to winning. Like we needed to play with more intensity. We need to get out in transition because we're creating those, opportunities off of missed shots. Go run off of that. That's perfect. That's beautiful basketball. But getting scored at and still like pushing the pace insanely just to get stopped in the half court to where we're now gassed and can't run a half court set, and also still push the pace to where our guys defensively are like Tumani are struggling because of it. Because you can't give Tumani, in my eyes, the hardest guy to guard every single night, and then also expect him to play the fastest pace and be like being all NBA defender.
Yeah.
However, if we get healthy again, which I hope we do, let's try it out because it worked the first like 6 games of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. And because again, what I want from Thiago is for him to not coach the team based on his principles, but to coach it based on what is best for what is available.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was finally doing that in that game, that streak that we just went on, slowed it down because we didn't have that many guys. Did let Tumani play and Donovan kind of, regain some of their energy and put in more effort on both ends, especially defensively. And we saw some wins from it.
Yeah.
So if we're unhealthy, slow it down. If we're healthy, sure, give it a go.
Right. It all hinges on health. And I feel like that style is so weird how much that truly did feel like it depended on Matisse and Blake to work. And then they went out and it was just completely crumbled. I don't know. It
shows how like not unsustainable it is, but how specific of a team you need for that to actually work on both ends for the entirety of a season.
Yeah.
You need to be 10 guys deep for that to work.
10 guys
and we
deep.
were for a couple days.
Yeah. And this will kind of lead into my next one, but I do like it, and it's so it all ties back to health, but it's a lot easier to think of in theory, but especially with the fact that like half this team has had to sit and the other half has had to step in and fill in a role, and we've seen success. I do really feel like this is a team that can go like 12, 13 guys deep where someone comes in and I go, I can trust them. And that's in huge part to the play of CD Sissoko and Caleb Love being on their 2-way contracts.
Yeah, well, it's so funny when you look at this team now, and it's like guys you'd be happy playing. Deni, Tumani, CD, Donovan, Jeremy, Scoot, Drew, Caleb, Chris, Matisse, Blake, Rob Will. That's 12 dudes.
12, maybe 13. I don't know. You cut.
I just counted it. I counted 12. Yeah,
you got to.
You're right. We're Katie and Caleb have come about this season. We're legit 12 guys deep.
Yeah, which is awesome. I think it's a good thing that you need in the NBA for sure. As basically any team can see, especially if you want to survive 82 games. And then you can obviously trim down the rotations in the playoffs. I don't even think Thiago will do that. We'll probably look, if Thiago is coaching us as a playoff team with this roster, I think we'll be still flying guys around if everyone's healthy. But that does in part have a lot to do with the play of CD and Caleb. And I think it's pretty undeniable to say that they don't deserve. It's undeniable to say that they don't deserve contracts.
Yeah, 100%.
CD and Caleb deserve contracts on this team is what I'm trying to say.
Without a doubt.
So the two of them need to go from a two-way to a standard contract. I think it's like sometime shortly after the All-Star break. If they're not do that we just run out of their availability games for their two-way designation. You get like 50 games to appear in or something. So what I want to see happen is for those two to get contracts. How that's going to happen, we'll probably talk about the trade deadline later. We can either make a two-player, like we give up 2 players and get one back to open up a roster spot because we currently have 15. It's probably going to result in at least one player being cut. My guess is Duop first and then Rupert second, if that's what it comes down to. That seems like the easy choices, but so Cronin's got some work to do, but I think he obviously, he believed in Caleb Love, he believed in CD, right? So I think he is pretty set in finding a way to get these guys contracts, and I think it will happen, but I do want to see it because those are awesome 11th and 12th men to have on your team for a lot of reasons.
Absolutely. Is it cool if I fire off some quick what I want to see kind of bullet points on some of our players individually?
Sure.
Yeah, starting with Chumani in the second half of the season, I really want to see him become a legitimate 38% three-point shooter. Because I think tonight was, and kind of the whole season, because I still believe in Chumani's defensive capabilities, even though he's had a rough season defensively. Which we talked about this last video. It's not just because his role is the same as it was last year. Just like statistically, he's guarding the best player the same amount. He's traveling the same amount of miles defensively. He has the same role as last year, but he's been struggling more. Again, I think it's because of the pace. But still, offensively, I have not been convinced yet that he's a guy that a great playoff team can play. And we saw it tonight, where he struggles with cutting. He struggles as a playmaker still. But we've seen potential for him to be a good three-point shooter in order for him to be a guy that I really can believe is a starter on a great team. Because, again, I'm not worried about the defense once we slow it down. And once we get guys back, I think we're going to see Chumani be an all-NBA level defender again. But I need to see him become a 38% shooter in order to stay on the floor offensively.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You look around at guys in his archetype, and there's a lot of them who are staying out there, and they're hitting like 40% threes. I was looking just now before we started this at like a list. I was like, who's the player the Blazers could target to trade for as a shooter? And I'm like, who shoots like 40%? And the list is so much longer than I think it is.
So much longer than you think.
Because not a single Blazer is sniffing that. I think Jeremy's at like 38 point something.
Yeah.
So like it feels so foreign of a concept to us, but there's so many players out there doing it, and those are players that will win you championships. Are the ones who are 3-and-D players who actually hit their threes.
You're so right when you say that. When you look up, because I did that too recently, I looked up who's shooting like above 40. It is so many more guys than you'd think. It's not, and we need Chumani to be able to do that in order to be a good player on a championship team.
Yeah.
If not, he's more of a Thibault.
Yeah.
And Thibault's actually a guy who over the last couple of years has improved his three-point shot. He's a better three-point shooter than Chumani during his time as a Blazer. But in order for Chumani to be that guy on a championship team, we got to see that percentage get up to 40.
Yeah.
Or around 40, because I said 38. I was trying to be nice to Chumani. But yeah. Next up for Donovan, I need to see him dominate more defensively. It's become, as a huge Donovan fan, I'm a fan. There's certain guys on the team. I'm a fan of everyone on the team, but I'm like a fan of Donovan. I'm like a fan of Matisse. I'm a fan of Jeremy. Like, I love those guys. love everyone on this team. CD, I'm really a fan of CD. But dude, I love Donovan. And the big reason why is because I feel like he can be a one-man defensive difference maker. And I feel like he has just kind of been okay this season. And not
Yeah.
only that, I've been in denial of it up until tonight that he has been kind of played off the floor quite a few times defensively.
The Knicks game,
Uh,
um,
yeah.
a stretch big really, and a lot of it has to do with the drop coverage, and I don't know how much of that is schemed, like by Tiago or anything, but Karl Anthony Towns is a nightmare matchup for a lot of centers, but definitely Klingon.
Yeah. So I think he's just been okay defensively, which is something that to me every night has been, like I said, been in denial of it, of how much it's been bothering me. It's really bothering me that I think, and I don't know what it is, if it's a scheme thing, if it's him trying to conserve energy with how many guys are out.
Yeah.
If it's him, just kind of still trying to figure things out in general. And what's interesting is if when you look at the advanced like stats from B-Ball Index of how he's doing like rim wise, he's doing great, but I don't know, man. I don't feel it. I think he's overall been kind of really disappointing defensively when I thought he was going to be an all NBA level defender.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's trying to focus more offensively, and he's 21. So I assume he's just trying to figure out that balance more than anything. But just comparatively speaking, like I say, I love B-Ball Index because you can they have such good context based advanced stats. So they really look at who you're playing with, who you're playing against, all that stuff. And he has for his defensive metric has him in the 90th percentile for NBA players, which is very good, but only 62nd percentile for his role, which is his role as anchor big. So in terms of anchor bigs, he's in the 62nd percentile in B-Ball Index's defensive metric, which to me, that matches what I'm seeing. It's he's been slightly above average defensively. Last year, he was in the 98th percentile.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Let me make sure that's correct.
Sure. And this is an overall, that number you just shared is an overall defensive impact, not the rim deterrence. Yeah.
Last season, his overall, they call it the LeBron stat.
Yeah.
Their defensive LeBron. Yeah. He was in the 99th percentile in the NBA last year and 95th percentile for his role.
Yeah.
So he was a top 10 level defender last year. This year he's not. And I want to see, we saw as a rookie him able to be one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Because to me, that's I'd much rather him be one of the best defenders in the league than an incredible offensive player. I think he's showing he can be both, and he's trying to find that balance. That's my take on the situation of how to conserve energy here and there. Because again, he's 21 years old. He's still figuring it out. But I would like to see that balance. I want to see him go back to being what last year was when he was playing. We were one of the best defenses in the NBA. When he wasn't playing, we were one of the worst. And we're still better with him defensively on the floor, but not as much as we were last year statistically. And just based on eye test alone, he's not making the difference that we'd want to.
Yeah.
But still, huge shout out to him for showing that he can be I have so much belief in him now offensively. He's, I think, our second most important player because of his offensive rebounding talent. But in order for him to be that guy, because we're thinking rings, baby. We're thinking championships. And if we're going to win a championship, I need Donovan to be a top defender. I need Tumani to hit his threes at a 40% rate. And those are for me, two really big ones. And then we also have Deni. What do you think? What would you like to see from Deni next for the second half of the season?
I want to see Deni be the point guard for the rest of the season.
I agree.
And I don't think that I understand where everyone is coming from when they say oh, we've been missing a point guard. We need a point guard back. Because you need multiple people who can handle the ball. But Deni has been a point guard. Deni has been, by the traditional sense of what a point guard does. He's not 6'2", but he's by all, basketball historical metrics. He takes the ball up, he distributes the ball, he gets assists, he starts the offense. That's what a point guard does. He does it by driving and then kicking. That's his bread and butter. He'll do some.
And he's
other
one of the
stuff.
best in the NBA at it.
He's one of the best in the NBA at it. If we could shoot, if we weren't the worst shooting team in the league, he would be averaging 10 assists. I firmly believe that. If we were like the Hawks, who can shoot well, like Jalen Johnson, he would be Jalen Johnson if he was on the Hawks. I fully believe that. Maybe the shooting is a little worse.
Much better, even though I know Jalen Johnson's the man.
And Jalen Johnson's the man. Deni is probably a little step behind in efficiency and shooting, but again, like that gravity of everyone, he has so many people on him all the time. He has to take these step back threes.
Oh my God, dude! I was underestimating Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, Jalen Johnson.
I thought he was putting up like 20, like 7 and 4. He's putting up 23, 10 and 8.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, the rebounding is really there too. And again, I think
I'm still locked into the NBA. For some reason, I haven't really fully been locked in on. I've known how good he's been playing. I didn't know it was those numbers. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, you get to see him.
He's still much better, if you ask me.
Yeah, right. I agree. I think that's one of an incredibly good combo, and both those players are very young, and they're very, very similar. And I think if the team around Deni was closer to what is around Jalen Johnson with the Hawks on the offensive side of the ball, his numbers would look even better. Deni's just got that extra superpower of getting to the free throw line that Jalen Johnson doesn't have. That's where he gets those extra points. But I don't want the ball out of his hands. He has shown that he is so much more useful as that on-ball player, as that creator, as that engine of the offense. And we don't really know how far that ceiling can go. I saw a stat today that was made up by the All-NBA podcast. I think I'm getting that name right. It's with Tim Legler and Adam Mares. They put out these stats all the time. They do great stuff. But I'll put it up here, but it's like this graph of people's shots and how easy they are and how much they make them. And it's and it's like you got Jokic and Shea up in the top right because they make all of them and they miss them. They get good shots for themselves and then they make them. And then Deni is the furthest one of the right of creating himself open looks. He's just kind of in the middle of the pack on making them. Yeah. And it shows you that I'm not saying he's anywhere close to SGA or Jokic level of efficiency, but he has so much room to get to he just needs to find these extra couple of shots or just find a hot streak and he will explode. So we have to give him that chance. And I love, like you said, I love everyone on this team, but they all need to figure out what their role is around him in that regard. And that's also what makes me so bummed about Scoot is because he's going to have to come back and fully fight his way into that. That's an addendum to what I was going to say. But Deni, point guard, rest of the season, has to be.
I completely agree. And let's clarify this. We want to see him in the same role with less of a burden.
Yes.
That's what we want to see. We don't want to see Deni carrying the team the way he is right now. We love him in this role. We want to see him do this role with some help. That's what it is, to take off that burden. We don't want to see him we want to see him go from being a point guard, going from 100% of the time to 80 to 90. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's proving that in this role is where he excels, because what Deni's superpower really is his playmaking. Because like you said, like he's great at getting shots for himself, but he's only converting them at like an average rate, while the superstars are doing it at an insane average rate. And to me, having less of that burden is how we get that percentage up. Because he's doing this while doing everything. Or he's getting those open looks. He's doing it at like a league average rate while doing absolutely everything. He does not have some of the help these other guys have. But we love that he's in that position to do that. We want to keep seeing him in that position as a point guard to generate those looks for himself and others. But if he can lessen the burden, then we see that efficiency go up to hopefully nearer that superstar SGA Jokic type level. Yeah. We don't think he's going to get all the way there. But if he can get halfway there,
yeah,
that's an all-NBA player without a doubt, which we already kind of think he is.
Yeah.
I agree. And I also want to see from Deni, and I'm pretty confident in this because he showed it the last like 2 weeks, but just some more ethical hoops, which he's done a much better job of. Because like we talked about, there was 2 weeks where it was getting tough to defend it was never tough to defend his impact, but it was getting tough to defend his style of play. But then after that, he stopped. That was after the 5-game home stretch that you were here for.
Yeah.
At the tail end of that, kind of after that, it seems like he figured it out, a way to do a better job of not only going for fouls, doing a better job of not getting back on defense. Like it became a much more enjoyable watch, which is way more fun to watch for a guy who's making that much of an impact to also be having a lot of fun watching him play. And he got back to that before he got hurt. And that's what I want to see from him
Yeah.
going forward.
He's
as
gotten
well.
He's gotten a lot better at it for
A
sure. I think
lot
he's at least, to me, it looks like he's self-aware, and
Yeah.
it's instinct still to him to gripe a little bit like that, and everyone does it to a degree, and you kind of have to do some of it to get the calls to go your way. But he's fine. He's meeting his way in the middle into the sweet spot. I think he's coming around and growing up in that regard.
And in kind of relation to what you were saying, or about bouncing off of that, piggybacking off what you said about Denny, with him having that more of a point guard role, even with Drew back, because obviously, like we said, we want to see some people play more point guard. The problem isn't that Denny's playing point guard; it's that he's the only one. We want to still see him in that role with some help. The guy who is there to help it, I also want to see play more off ball and have a little less on ball
responsibilities.
Yeah, is Drew. Because dude, first half of the season, the games that he played, I was also a little disappointed with Drew's defensive impact. I thought he looked like Drew of old offensively, but I want to see him kind of balance that a little bit more defensively. Kind of very similar to what we were saying about Donovan. Two guys that we know are high impact defenders that were taking a higher role offensively and seem to be kind of figuring out how to balance that for this team. I want to see Drew be a little bit more of an off-ball player offensively and conserve that energy that he's has been using as an on-ball point guard, offense running guy. Conserve that energy and use it defensively to go and being more of the defensive Drew that I think is more beneficial to the team now that we know how good Deni is as a point guard. And I think that will also happen when Scoot hopefully comes back sooner rather than later. And we can see what I think at age 35 is the best version of Drew, which is still a great defensive player, a secondary ball handler, and a great off-ball shooter, which Drew always has been. I think that's going to be more beneficial to the team.
Yeah. When you see, and to bring Scoot into that, because I think once everyone is healthy, I don't think we'll have any lack of ball handlers between Scoot and Drew to initiate the offense. It's when Deni goes to the bench right now that things kind of tailspin on the offensive end of the ball, which makes sense. When you were about to say that with the off-ball thing, I thought you were gonna say Shaden, because that's what I also want to see. I really do commend Shaden getting better and working hard at being a facilitator and having to be thrust into this role of a creator. Like tonight was, we were kind of saying this could be a big opportunity for Shaden, and it didn't go great, and that's really okay because that's just really not who he is and not who he should be trying to be. I really truly think he should be at the rim scoring Lauri Markkanen, to where he is just this really, really high level play finisher when you use him in the right spots. And I think his 3-point shooting is honestly getting better, and it is still coming down to the shot selection. But when he gets easier ones, I think it is getting better, and we all know how good he is at scoring at the rim. His mid-range, again, it's so many difficult ones that he takes, but I think we can all see that he is a great scorer, and if him playing off ball with multiple guys who can distribute the ball to him, I think will be great. I want to see Shaden be playing off ball, looking to finish plays, and that be his only responsibility so that he can focus on the defensive end as well, right? So he's not having to do so much. I don't want his usage rate so high. I just want him finishing the play.
I absolutely agree, because I thought he was solid tonight.
I thought so too.
I thought he was exactly what I think Shaden is.
Yeah.
Because I at this point think it's unfair to expect him to be this 1A option for the team. Because you saw it tonight. It's he played well. He shot 9 of 15, but he was very smart about his shot selection tonight, I thought. He didn't really force much, because I don't think he both physically, because as we've talked about, he's a much smaller and slimmer guy than I think he gets credit for, just because of how long his wingspan is, how high he can jump. But he's not a guy who's really good at creating a shot against physical defenses. He's not that great of a playmaker. But he's a guy who is, dude, when he's at the hoop, I've never been more confident that the ball is going in.
Yeah.
Of any guy. He is such an incredible elite finisher. We say finisher, you're exactly right. We want to see him be a play finisher.
Yeah.
I've been loving that play that we've been running a few times now, where he starts in the corner. Donovan's at the top of the key, and then we kind of just run Shea off from the corner at off a screen. He goes to the hoop. Donovan gets it to him, and he now has like a free reign to the hoop. We got to see plays like that, because he's in the month of January. He's putting up 20 points a game, shooting 43% from the field, and shooting 32% from three during this winning streak. While putting up 4.5 rebounds, 3.7 assists. Which are, it's fine. It's solid numbers. I still personally I don't know what I want to see from Shade in the second half of the season. That is like an unfair expectation, because I just don't think he has the physicality and the muscle yet to be a guy who can create his own shot at an elite rate. I thought that Spurs game was kind of a bit of a bummer of an example of some of the things that he struggles with. But at the same time, he's putting up 21 a game and can do it easily when he takes the right shots. And that's an incredible skill, an important skill that we need on this team.
Yeah.
But he's still struggling shooting the ball. I think he's still he's rough defensively. I mean, the same stat that we use that shows that Tumani over the last 2 seasons is in the 98th, 99th percentile as a perimeter isolation defender, has Shaden in the 0th percentile. Which is a hilarious word to use, 0th. Which shows, he's still statistically by that measure, you can, put whatever weight you want in advanced metrics, because they can be complicated. I think B-Ball Index has, and convoluted, I think B-Ball Index has the best ones, but shows he's still in some ways one of the worst defenders in the entire NBA. And it's still tough that we're seeing him be one of the worst defenders in the NBA, still struggle to shoot the 3 ball. Obviously, we've seen flashes of it getting better. But I need to see more than just flashes from Shaden at this point.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that I want us to stop having to, and again, it's like we've had to rely on him. Tonight he was the first option out of the gate on the starting lineup, so he has to do all this stuff. I want him to stop having to worry about doing that, about running the offense, because I just want him to think about play defense and score this ball when it gets into my hands. That's it. I
don't feel like he's physically capable, because again, he's so slim.
But I get it. I get that you don't think that he is, and that's why I want us to do everything we can to work to get him to be there. And when we can't go throw him in the weight room every day because we need him out on the court, what we can do is try to change his mental game. And so I think as soon as a Scoot and Deni and Drew, 2 of Deni, Drew, and Scoot are out there together to take on all 48 minutes of ball handling and playmaking responsibilities. I don't want Shea to do anything but be a play finisher and play as good of defense as you possibly can. That's what I want to see from him.
I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I hope he can get there, but we'll see.
It was frustrating, but also, in my eyes, mildly commendable about Shea is today was his first game without Deni, without Jeremy. He was the clear, on paper, first option for this team. He took less shots than Caleb.
That's funny.
It is funny. When he shot 60%, 1 of 5 from 3, which is, to me, it was the classic Shaden game in a good way, as long as we know that's the kind of player he is, where it's like he's not going to be that great of a playmaker. He's going to be an okay rebounder. He's going to struggle defensively, but he's one of the best finishers that I've honestly ever seen play basketball, while still, really struggling from 3 a healthy amount of the time. But it's funny he took less shots than Caleb, because I also still, and I don't think this is a negative, I don't think he still has the mentality of being a guy who's going to go and force an insane amount of shots.
Yeah. Which is what we want.
But it's also frustrating when, I feel like some of the expectations is for him to be a future All-Star, which he still might be, but I still don't think he's showing it right now. And I would like, for the second half of the season, just for him to play, like you're basically saying, to the best of what his current abilities are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one more, and it's not
Sure.
it's not as much player related. I think this is a fun one you like. I want to see the team get sold to Tom Dundon in March when we're expecting
absolutely.
it, when it's supposed to happen. I have a weird little feeling in my brain that like something's gonna fall through with this. Like
I know what you
Tom
mean.
Dundon's gonna not have the credit or the actual money to get it done, or Jody's gonna be like, actually, I want to take it back. Like something,
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling something's gonna happen. The NBA's been a little stickly with like expansion. These owners, and that's different than selling a team. And I don't think Jody Allen is exactly the owner that all the other owners are like super thrilled on. So it should happen. It should happen in March when everyone meets. I don't know why these people can't meet earlier, but that's when it's supposed to go down. I hope it gets sold. I hope when it gets sold, he starts to become vocal in a productive way, not like a I'm here, baby, I'm taking everything, get the fuck out of my way type deal, but more of a like I'm here, let's do the right stuff. I want to start meeting people. I want to start doing things. I hope it's a jolt in the arm towards the end of the season that kind of gets everyone fired up and we push it into maybe a little postseason appearance, a play-in win, something like that. Just a little bit of like and we're off and running into a fun off season. I want it to start with that. I hope we get this thing bottled up and move on from Jody Allen for better or for worse.
However, from what I understand, Jody's going to keep 20% of the team.
Yeah, but I can't.
Right?
I can't imagine that means she's gonna be like Jody.
We
Allen,
will never escape Jody. Which,
sure,
in
but
some ways, like I weirdly have a weird nostalgic. Like I like that the Allens are still going to be part of the team.
that's fine. Yeah,
But you're 100% right. That does not mean I want to see Jody still have I hope it's purely financial and
sure.
purely a way
It's
to
just
keep
an
the team
asset.
here.
Yeah, and I also
Yeah.
yes to keep the team here good. And like when Jody Allen has been 100% owner, she has not done a single public facing thing. So when she becomes a 20% owner, I can't imagine that she'll start piping up and being like, Tom, actually, I think something different.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
But I don't think we'll get rid of her fully. But when Tom becomes a full-time or the majority owner, I hope he makes his presence known and I hope it goes well, but I hope that it's the beginning of some cool, fun changes. And we turn into the Carolina Hurricanes of the NBA, who are winning their division of 8-team division in NHL yet again. So Tom Dundon has built a winner there. I hope he gets voted in March and is allowed to take over the team and he starts making some moves, because I think we'll have a pretty exciting offseason if he does.
I completely agree. And honestly, the main thing that I want to see for the second half of the season, because obviously there's the obvious, obviously you want Scoot to come back, and I want to see him be a good member of this team. I want to see Matisse come back. And this is a very quick take that we'll kind of like to see. I kind of want to see Matisse at least make it interesting for that starting job for whoever, if it's Tumani, if it's Shea. I'm such a big Matisse believer. He's an all-NBA level guy who's still not that old. I would love, and when he plays, he's so impactful. I would like for him to be good enough that it kind of motivates Tumani and Shea to step up their game to keep their starting spot, or that Matisse plays well enough that we're like, ooh, we kind of got to start this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's been a 38% three-point shooter since he joined us, and he's a two-time All-NBA defender.
Right.
But
it just feels like an entire lifetime ago that all of that was the case, because he's been out for so long. So that's
absolutely.
But yes, I would love if that were the case.
But the main thing, what I want to see and what I feel so good about is I want to see us make the playoffs. And that feels so cool to actually say, dude. When I watch I've not missed a Blazer game in 22. I'm 28 now. When did I draw? It was in first grade.
That you drew Damon?
that I drew Damon during my after school homework
So
time
you're
and got in
probably
trouble.
7.
I think I was 6 at that point. So it's been 22 years since I've missed a Blazer game, and most of that over the last 4 years has been just nonstop miserable losses. So the fact I can say that I think we will, and I'm excited for us to have a real run at making the playoffs is awesome. And I expect us to do it. I think we're the we're the ninth best team in the or sorry, we're the eighth best team in the West in my eyes. When we're fully healthy. So I think that we're going to get that done.
Yeah. I and we'll wrap this up as our looking ahead, kind of looking towards the end of the season, how we feel now, which is, to me, I think we have a chance at catching the Warriors. I think the Clippers are coming on very strong.
Yeah, they are. They won
And
again tonight.
I don't know. I haven't checked. Um, the Clippers are coming on very strong, and they're going to be a bit of a problem. But I think I think we will outpace the Grizzlies pretty solidly. They don't have they're, if anything, offloading their best player. They're looking towards the future a lot more intently than I think we are. I think we're looking into the present a lot more. They're also banged up. So that being said, I feel pretty safe that between those 3 teams, I think the Warriors, they're one Steph injury away from a complete plummet.
Yeah.
So I feel confident that given all
They
of
might
that,
not even be a Steph injury away from that.
yeah, right. We have the tiebreaker over them because we beat them in the season series, right? So all that being said, I think there's a very good chance that we're ahead of at least one of those teams, which would put us in 10th. Likely maybe 2 of them if we can get healthy sooner rather than later, and put us in 9th. And then it's just a meaningful playing game. We just got to see how it goes. But everyone called that a win of a season for us, and I feel very confident that it's in our grasp, and it would take I don't know, Deni being out for a month, I guess, to ruin it. But just get healthy. Just get healthy, please.
Well, what's so cool is that even if Deni is out for a month, we'll still probably be in the play-in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we comes back and we're going to have this hopefully pretty healthy, insanely good team because we saw what we look like even when we were pretty unhealthy.
Yeah.
So fully healthy, I love the potential
Fully
of this
healthy,
team to
I
make
love this
an
team.
end of the season run at it. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Can I ask you 2 yes or no questions that are Marvel epilogue cameos towards a future video?
Okay, yeah.
In the second half of the season, do you want to see us make a trade?
I would like to see us make a trade, ideally.
Do you think we will make a trade?
I think you're going to have to find out next time. See what that answer is. Because I am very undecided on what that is. I need to sit down and think.
Sounds good. I'm in the same boat. That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
I think I would like to see one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think I would like to see
for another time.
I think I would like to see one. I really am so torn on whether I think it'll happen or not. So,
yeah.
Stay tuned for that episode because I think we will do the trade deadline talk. We'll get nice and creative on the trade machine. I love to do that. We'll talk about.
You're one of the best at it.
I'm an uprising star in the trade machine world.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to put my talents. I'll put pen to paper this week,
nice.
and make something happen. But for those of you listening this far, we appreciate you as always. Hope you're having a great new year. Hope you didn't take that Blazer loss to the Warriors too hard. That was not for the faint of heart. But
no.
Get in your prayer circle. Everyone hover around. Let's hope that Deni's okay soon. Let's hope that everyone gets healthy. And we'll keep on keeping on because this has been a fun Blazer season. A lot more fun than recent ones. Just think about what life was like for the past 4 years at this time.
Yeah.
Because this was
think about how quickly things got better once all of us were brave enough to say that the Blazers are cool.
Yeah. because things got a lot better once we, shed the arrogance that they weren't cool. And
That they were cool. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. By the way,
it's okay.
I just interrupted you to say that. This has been like a prime. For our viewers at home who they noticed that. I had all these notes and stats up, so I wasn't looking at you directly the whole video. I feel like I've interrupted you like 50 times. If that annoyed you and you watch this, I apologize. It annoyed me that I kept doing it.
If it bothered you, sound off in the comments. Say hashtag Brad's being annoying.
Yes.
All right.
I'm well aware.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys. Love you all, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya.